we have the legend that is terrible Tim Witherspoon. Alongside him, Tim Witherspoon Jr. as well, the protege, of course, in town. But it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you to our Sports Tonight Live studios, Tim, and thank you very much for joining us. And you're in great form. We've already been chatting. What great fettle you're in.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Junior is now the big focus for you as well. But just everyone, the name Tim Witherspoon, when it's mentioned, will say Frank Bruno, will say Wembley, a two-time heavyweight champ. You're still fighting fit, basically, in great form as well. What have you been up to? I mean, remind the British public that maybe haven't been following you that closely, just what's been happening with you in the last few years.
I've pretty much been trying to help Tim, or getting ready for the future. I mean, you know, when he was little, I didn't realize that he wanted to really fight. I know he's picking the gloves up, and you know, was following me around, and then bam, he's fighting. So I didn't really pressure him to fight or anything, and it's something he want to do. And I'm also a soldier for trying to help bring peace and love and happiness to the world. So anywhere that I can spread that theme or whatever, I'm going to do that.
Once Tim decided that he wanted to be a part of the sport, were you really keen to get involved personally? Because obviously you wouldn't want someone else managing your son's career.
Correct. I didn't want him getting hurt, and you know, I love my son, and I knew that if he wanted to get in the game and wanted to be a world champ one day, I was going to be the man. Who better than to do it? I wasn't going to let anybody, you know, work with Tim. I mean, people work with him, but I was going to be the man in front of the car, whatever the car or the ship, driving everything and whatever you want to say, you know. Yeah. So.
In different divisions, of course. You were heavyweight, and you're fighting at lightweight now. I mean, is any difference?
Light welter.
Light welter, sorry. Yeah. Any difference in terms of your thinking, your philosophy, and the way that you approach the fight game and training to when you're now training a smaller guy?
Well, you know, bigger guys do a lot of slower things, and smaller guys do a lot of faster things. Actually, that's because of the weight size. But there is big guys that can move fast, like the small guys. But it's all about education. I believe you could teach a big guy. If you could teach, then you could teach the small guy just as well as a big guy. No matter what weight it is, you know, you could teach them. You know, they say bigger they are, the harder they fall, or people will be worried about the size difference. I heard somebody said on the TV, well, I'm not big enough, and that weight, I'm gonna move back down. Don't blame it on the weight. You know, you know, it's what you taught. If you really well schooled, you should be able to do well. And Pacquiao did. He went a couple of different weight classes. Oscar De La Hoya did it. So really, is what you know and the education that you obtain that'll carry you far. I mean, I fought big guys and knocked them out, and I had trouble with the little guys. The little short guys was harder than the big guys. Boom, right out. So it's what you know, I think.
I think Tim Jr., I have to ask you, you've got a father who's a former world heavyweight champion, who's obviously a trainer. It's a very lucky position to be in.
Very lucky, yeah.
What are the biggest things that you'd say that you've learned from him so far?
First of all, I mean, just talking to him, you know that his knowledge of the sport is beyond anyone's, you know what I mean? He's been there before, so not just the education-wise, which is very good and I wouldn't trade it for anything else, but you know, he knows what I'm going through, you know, the night before a fight, you know what I mean? He knows what I'm going through in the dressing room. He knows what I'm going through when I got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go running, you know what I mean? And not just that, he's doing it with me, you know what I mean? I have a trainer who can do what he practice what he preaches, you know what I mean? So that helps out a lot. A lot of guys, you know, they really don't have that 24 hours a day. When I'm in camp training for my fights, I'm 24 hours a day getting knowledge, training, nutrition. We're living it, you know what I mean? So to have a two-time world champion teaching me that's just, you can't trade that for anything.
That experience is obviously incredible.
Yeah.
In terms of your career now, when you look back, I mentioned Bruno, it's 25 years
Yeah.
since that
Yeah.
incredible night that, you know, obviously many British fans weren't too happy with you at the time. I think that's in the past now. But it was an amazing evening. But if you look back at your career now, with that night and some of the other stellar nights, the two-time world champion, of course, I mean, happy with your career? Is there anything now that you're passing on to your son in terms of, you know, the highs, the lows, exactly what you want to get across?
I lived it, you know what I mean? So it's not just being passed down. I like to tell people that this is my second career because I lived through what my dad went through, highs and lows, you know what I mean? So that's another experience that other people don't get just from my dad being who he is. This is our second career. This is a chance to do some of the mistakes that we made in the past with his career, doing right with me. You know, some of the things that he wasn't doing until the end of his career, I can do them now. You know, and that's what we have. That's the package that is so beautiful. And he's my head trainer, and his brother, my Uncle Salim, who was in his corner, is my second. So, like, it's a family thing, and it's just, now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking, like, I'm the luckiest boxer in the world, you know, and I'm going to, you know, take full advantage of it.
Okay. Oh, I'm just saying that this is not going to be long. I wouldn't, like he said, he wouldn't change nothing in the world. I wouldn't change what happened to me, even though a lot of it was negative, because I'm right here today because of that, speaking about my past. You know, there's a lot of heavyweight champs and other boxers that's not still in the eyes of the people and stuff, and I'm not going to change it, even though you know I was heavyweight champ and all that, but was I multi-rich? Did I make a whole lot of money? No, I made money, but for some, I'm not going to change it. I want the Bruno fight, all this being over here and back home and stuff, all that. I want that to stay like it is. I don't want to change it.
And what about yourself now in terms of training in England? You're
Yes.
to and from. I mean, there's a big connection with the place here, and just why England, and also what are your immediate ambitions in the game?
Oh, well,
I can. Well, the reason why we came over.
well,
is because we're in Sheffield.
Yeah, we were in Sheffield. Well, my dad's been coming here before I was coming here, and yeah, we're in Sheffield, and there's a big boxing base there. So we thought that'd be a good idea for me to come over and you know, experience training here, and I liked it. You know, we keep coming back, and you know, you guys got some good fighters here, and there's nobody from my gym at home gets to have this opportunity, so why not take it? You know, I'm well aware that I'm very privileged to have a father and who my father is. I get opportunities that people don't get on a daily basis, you know, but it's up to me to fight, you know, and to take advantage of that. So it's a give and take, you know what I mean? So I know that, you know, the opportunities that I get make me target. So I have to train twice as hard as other people, you know what I mean? So, because even people that, you know, shouldn't be in the ring with me are going to try their hardest. So, but anyway, back to...
It's a fair point, though.
Yeah.
You've big shoes to fill, having in every sense.
And, you know, and they don't even know if I can fight or not, but, you know, my name is a target, so I have to train twice as hard as other people just so I can stay on top of the game.
Yeah.
And which any fighter should want to train that hard, but that's what I have to do. And but England, I enjoy it a lot. I've been, you know, participating in a lot of events here, you know, experiencing the people, and you know, it's just like a home away from home now for us. And you know, I love going back and forth, and I wish that a lot of people got that opportunity, because then the world would be a better place, because they would understand that, you know, there's good and bad people wherever you go, and you could be in England and you could be doing the same exact thing that you would be doing back in Philadelphia. So that, if people from England got a chance to go to Philadelphia, I think that they would get a better understanding as well. So I think that that's what the world needs, and I'm glad that I get to experience that.
Well, I just wanted to ask Tim, obviously, you said to us before we went on air, you're coming up to your 54th birthday. You look at least 10 years younger. No scar tissue.
I lied to you.
But it's a great legacy you've bequeathed to your son here, because obviously, you know, look at you. If the genetics are anything to go by, you're going to look like that when you're 53.
I hope so.
What's the secret? How you've been a boxer, but you wouldn't know it to look at you.
Well, only thing I can say
So
is
the moisturizer.
I mean, I just don't know. I didn't realize if it's that way. But when I was little, I heard I got altogether I got 10 brothers and sisters, but my mom is 8 of us. So I was little and I heard I heard them talking. I heard them talking to my mom and said, they didn't know that she had kids that big. They didn't know she had kids that big, and she looked real young. They thought she was real young. So I don't know. It might be from that. I don't know. I heard them telling my mom that they didn't believe she had all these big kids. Because I got another brother that's like 6'5", and they didn't believe it, and they looked at her. So I don't know. I've been hearing people say, "Oh, you ain't that old." So it just goes back to that. But what I do is my son is keeping me like this. I would eventually kept on training because I like to train and keep working out. But I'm realizing that him being involved in the game is just keeping me fit. And like he said, I do whatever, almost every, like when he run, he leaves me. But when he first started, he wasn't leaving me.
I was only 8.
But even a little bit after that, he wasn't leaving me.
Probably tied your shoelaces together as well.
Yeah,
So and I look back and I'm saying, man, I'm glad he's fighting. And his son has got the same name as him. One of his sons, Tim Witherspoon III, is definitely, this kid, well, anyway, he's going to keep it moving. But this kid already saying, I'm going to be champ. I'm saying, what the? But he goes, when they see you put your gloves on, this is what happened with him. When he see me put gloves on and saw that I was a boxer, didn't know I was a champion, but he was 2 years old when I fought Frank.
Yeah.
It's over. Now, little Tim III, is no stopping. He's going to do his schoolwork. His mother is intelligent, and she's going to make sure he get the education. But there's no stopping this kid. He's going to be a boxer. He's already telling him he's going to be champion at 4 years old.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't believe it.
You actually don't look as old as you are as well. You have inherited your dad's genes there, certainly.
I went
Because you're 26, aren't you now? But
With James.
just a word now about the heavyweight division, because it's a contentious point, because we keep talking about the Klitschko's dominating, we keep talking about the lack of American fighters really at that weight. Over here, we're getting a bit excited about Tyson Fury, who's definitely seems to be in the public mindset now as the key heavyweight, even though we'll be talking to David Price a little later on, who beat Tyson in the amateurs.
Yes.
I mean, what do you make of it all?
It goes back to like they're going to fight, and when they fight, they become champions and stuff. But I'm a boxer, and when I see a fight, I automatically see what a person needs. Or what is his asset, But I automatically see that, and I'll go to see what I think, in my opinion, what I think boxing needs, and it needs a lot of guys like me, and we talked about that, a lot of guys like me, a little bit of more older guys with experience, guys that taught me. God bless Jim Robinson, who taught me. He's dead right now. Taught me all the old slick movements and stuff, the stuff you seen when I fought Frank and all that. You like David Hay. You got David Hay. He ran wild with that the incident with Klitschko. All he needed was a senior person in his camp that he respected. So a lot of that wouldn't happen. He made an excuse about his leg. It might have been true. There's a lot of things that he did. You need guys like me around to say, no, I don't think you should do it this way. Let's do it that way. And then the people that pay for their tickets and get a different view. They wouldn't get all that, all this, the hoopla thing. When David Hay was in Sheffield, I was right there. He had all these supporters. After the fight, he won. He walked right through the middle like Moses parted the water. It was all English people. It had to be at least 500. On this one, maybe 300, I'm not exaggerating, but they were all on his side. He had his belts on his shoulder, walking through the middle of them like he was a gladiator. And they were saying, what was they saying? They were saying like, hip, hip, hooray. And I said, look at his following. I said, he really got a following. David Hay walked down there, everybody, oh man. That was a scene you should see in a TV or something like that, right? And then you get him, fighting Klitschko, and he have all this support, and it's like a letdown. So you need guys like experienced guys saying, look, Dave, let's do it this way, let's do it that way. You got people behind you. You cannot disappoint them. If you lose the fight, they're with you. but don't disappoint him in different ways, like negative ways, like he want to be an actor. Here it is, we thinking David Hayes going to be champion or going to get the title and go like 3 or 4 or 5 years and get retained. I mean, and keep it. But he's talking about retiring and being a movie star. Well, here he is. I'm paying a ticket, and I'm waiting to see 5, 6 more fights, and then he pulls this. But he has a right to retire. But in this situation,
well, I think it's probably that, and hopefully, if you can stay with us, we'll talk a little bit more about this after the break. But that's probably why the British public took to Frank Bruno so much, because he kept persevering. And obviously, you ended his dream at one point.
I didn't.
But he kept persevering, and he got there in the end, didn't he?